of its landscape and diversity of its peoples, welcome to Travelogue's Ethnic Minority Special. And today, in the geographic center of China, Hunan province, there is a unique local culture, and that's the Tujia ethnic minority. These people call themselves the local peoples, literally. And today, we're going to explore their landscape and their lifestyles. Feel the serenity and also the excitement. Welcome to Travelogue. I'm Yin! I'm Yin!
The Tujia minority dwell in the Xiangxi Tujia Miao Autonomous Prefecture and some counties in southeastern Hunan and western Hubei. There are 4 groups of minority peoples in this area: the Miaos, the Tujia, the Dong, and the Yao. The way of life of the Miao and Tujia are very similar due to the similar environment, and the 2 groups were not differentiated until 1953. Hunan is a mountainous province with about 80% of its territory covered by mountains and crisscrossed by numerous small rivers. Zuolong Gorge is one such challenging natural barrier. It lies in Guzhang County in the western part of Hunan province.
The lens is wet, I can see it.
The gorge is shaped by 3 million years of wind and water erosion, famous for its steep cliffs, lush forests, ancient vines, and rough trails. The journey through the gorge is certainly an adventure.
So this is the waterfall, you see, and I'm a little wet, so I'm going to shut up now. Oh, God. So we just passed by over there. I'm wet. How's the cameraman doing?
After 5 hours of climbing, I can't imagine anyone not being exhausted. But the scenery is certainly worth it.
God bless.
The houses of the Tujia are very functional and similar to those of the Miao. The stilts of these homes allow the people to build houses above mountains and over rivers. Besides twisting gorges, there are spectacular winding roads. The Aizhai Highway is a pretty strange sight, turning at sharp angles in the mountains. The highway runs from bottom to top of the mountain, nearly on one face. This proves the craftiness of the minority people, and is a wonder in construction.
On this episode of Travelogue, we take you to central China, Hunan province, where the Tujia people live. Soak up their landscape and culture and unwind yourself here as Mother Nature reigns supreme. Marvel at twisting gorges shaped by 3 million years of wind and water erosion. Nature lovers indulge in the beauty of its steep cliffs, lush forests, ancient vines, and rough trails. Expand your boundaries with Travelogue.
Following the river, we reach Wangcun village, an ancient village with 2,000 years of history. Wangcun is a village of mostly Tujia people, and hopefully we can interact closely with them here. Wang in Chinese means king, and the ancient village was the capital for the Tujia king. In the 1980s, the famous film Fu Rongzhen was filmed in Wangcun and spread the village's beauty to the entire world.
Well, so this is the Grand Market, and you see, one cool thing is everyone has their little carry-on basket to carry their goods. Like over there, everywhere.
The baskets the Tujia carry on their backs carry deep cultural significance. They come in different shapes and sizes. Girls' families prepare them with an intricately made basket before marriage as dowry. After giving birth, the woman's parents make her another basket to carry the newborn. I even heard there's a basket that can carry water after it's been coated with a special layer of Chinese wood oil. For the people in the mountains, these baskets are as essential as camels in the desert. In Wangcun, sometimes looking at the faces of the children or the elderly hanging out by their houses gives us a sense of what it means to be Tujia. But the best display of traditional Tujia culture is through the local museum.
Somebody's special wedding night. I wonder how the bride is feeling. Is she happy? Is she excited? Or is she even a little sad? Well, in the Tujia ethnic minority, it's a typical custom for many of the brides to be very sad. They have a singing wedding song, and it's sort of a cry as well, because the bride will cry to her parents and also to her brothers and sisters, telling them to obey the parents after she leaves them for her new family at her husband's house. And this picture right here, you can see that.
In the year 940, the king of Chu and the Tujia provincial governor negotiated peace after many years of warfare. Afterwards, they cast a copper pillar as evidence.
Over 1,000 years of history, this pillar. And you see, the most interesting thing are the inscriptions on the pillar. This is all in Han Chinese. And it was actually a treaty between the Han and the Tujia peoples from over 1,000 years ago. And although the Tujia people had a very developed oral language, they didn't really use a written language. So here are the Han characters that people today can still read. Sign of peace. No more war.
This copper pillar still stands in memory of the history of cultural exchanges of Tujia and Han nationalities. And since then, much of the Tujia culture has evolved and incorporated elements of Han lifestyle. On our journey, we also witnessed another unique sight. In few places have I ever seen the red rocks and soil that remind us of Jurassic Park, taking us back to the land of dinosaurs. Different shades of red and different layers meshed in between. The red rocks are over 450 million years old. Originally, the land was submerged underwater, and even today, fossils from ancient organisms can be found embedded in the rocks. And as another center of Tujia culture, we found a small village called Shuangfeng, or Double Phoenix. Feng in Chinese is phoenix, the mythical bird of good omen. Traditionally, the center of every village was the performance center, and that was where the ceremonial sacrifices were performed.
The Tujia people are religious people who believe in spirits and in the gods. And where we're standing now, the Baishou Hall, which literally means swinging hand hall, is an important site for where they perform religious ceremonies. There was music, there was a special dance called the swinging hand dance, right here. Here we go.
Here, we can see the Baishou dance, and it depicts such things as hunting, agricultural activities, battling, and feasting in life. In all the dances I've usually seen, it stresses coordinated movements. But this one is quite unique in the sense that the movements are in sync. But in sync in the sense that the left arm moves with the left hand. For some, it may appear a bit uncoordinated, but I guess that's part of the charm. These people use their bodily language to pass down the story of their culture and express their emotions. Since Tujia language has no written form, art forms like dancing and singing are commonly used.
This may just look like hay to you, but actually, it's a very important part of a costume for a ritual dance that will be performed later. 先生，你也会表演这个舞蹈吗？
The old villager told me that many people can perform this dance, and they use it to ward off evil spirits. Maogusi is the primitive drama of the Tujia people. The dance originated from sacrificial ceremonies. Maogusi in the traditional language means old man, and I suppose it refers to the ancient man's relationship with the natural world. A complete performance of this dance takes 6 days. That just proves that their history and culture cannot be summed up very simply. But talk is just talk. Let's take a look at the dance itself. Here, they depict worship for fire, marriage rites, exchanges in trade, and interaction with other people. We can see their transformation from a nomadic people to the gradual introduction of agricultural society. From anyone in the modern world's perspective, this performance is just too pure. The singing, dancing, and drama reflect the origin and migration of the Tujia ancestors. Dance is primitive, but really it seems like a living history book, documenting the Tujia's lifestyle. From beginning to end, the dancers swing left and right, and we can hear the sounds of grass ruffling on their outfits. Sometimes the performance is hilarious, and other times it's quite real. Traditionally, the dance and music is performed by men exclusively, but nowadays, because young men have left the villages in pursuit of work in nearby cities, the performance we saw was done by the elders and even some women. Although it wasn't in its most original form, it was nonetheless interesting. Now we get back to the road, or rather, the water.
So now, a few buddies of mine and myself are now going to actually get on the boat. But we can't leave out the cameraman as well. Let's go. Our driver here says after another 30 minutes, we're going to see some real water. Right now I could just sort of sit, relax.
For those who are seeking excitement, rafting along the Mengdong River is the thing to do. Mengdong River can be called a source of Tujia culture, as its waters have nursed the Tujia people for over 2,000 years. June and July are the rainy season in Hunan, and with a good amount of rainfall. Luckily, we are just in time to catch the rain. Narrow and swift, the river twists and turns across the limestone terrain, and it's strewn with dangerous rapids. I don't know about this trip on a rubber dinghy, but it's certainly as breathtaking as sitting on a roller coaster.
Okay, right now we're going to approach a very dangerous spot. You see like the ER people, the emergency people. Okay, I'm going to hold on now. I'm going to shut up. Go! I don't know what to say. We're okay. We're okay.
Although this is just fun and games for me, can you imagine that the ancient Tujia people had to conquer the waters and climb the mountains in this natural environment for survival? For us, it's an adventure. For them, it's their home. In the secluded mountains, Tujia people have a tradition of self-sufficiency, producing all the things they need themselves. Under these difficult conditions, the people that resided in these mountains adjusted to hard work and developing a culture that overcame the challenges that nature imposed. The land of the Tujia is certainly beautiful, but a challenge to navigate. Don't forget to bring an umbrella, a good pair of boots, and a raincoat. Amongst the rocky mountains and flowing waters, we can hear the gentle Liusha waterfall. Liusha in Chinese literally means flowing sand waterfall, so you can gather its unique characteristics. Mention waterfall to most people, and they'll imagine something like Niagara Falls, with its loud, roaring water. If Niagara Falls were like a mighty man, then this Liusha waterfall would be a meek and gentle woman.
So here we are right under China's longest waterfall. You see, running all the way from up there. And most surprisingly is we can actually get a different perspective from going under or behind the waterfall and getting a glimpse of this sort of large sprinkler.
The Liusha waterfall is so gentle and delicate that it seems like by the time the water reaches the ground, it's almost become like a dew.
Now isn't that refreshing? I recognize that. You see that giant stone over there, the rock? It's shaped naturally almost to look like a giant Guanyin, which is one of the most important gods in Buddhism. And maybe that's why the temple down there is called the Temple of Guanyin. Let's go check it out. You might notice that behind me is the Temple of Guanyin. Now, Guanyin is one of the most important gods in Buddhism. And this sort of proves that the Tujia people were multi-religious. They had different types of religions. They believed in Guanyin, they believed in different spirits, and even man himself.
In Chinese Buddhism, Guanyin has been popular among ordinary worshippers for the belief that the Buddha is able to save people from poverty, death, and sorrow. According to a Buddha sutra, whenever those in distress murmur Guanyin's name, the goddess will never fail to come to their rescue. That's why Guanyin is also known as the goddess of great mercy. Even today, there are Tujia people who come to pray in this small temple hidden amongst the mountains. Our final stop is Fenghuang, one of the most picturesque small towns in China. In English, it's Phoenix Town, and it gets its name from a hill in the northeast, which is shaped like the bird. Fenghuang, we find traditional suspended houses. These are two-story wooden structures whose lower stories are supported by several heavy logs standing tilted on the ground, and whose large, wide upper stories lean over the river. Just close your eyes and imagine this place. An emerald green river running peacefully along the old city. Lush green mountains reflected in the water, and beside the river, wooden houses occasionally puffing out some smoke. Silent and serene most of the time, every once in a while, the giggles of young people washing in the river and the songs of fishermen fill the air. After the founding of the People's Republic of China in 1949, the central government initiated a process of identification of distinct ethnic minorities across the country. After 4 stages of this process, the government identified 55 unique ethnic minorities, along with the Han majority. The government then established minority autonomous prefectures to protect and preserve minority culture, allowing them to flourish into the future. Xiangxi Tujia Miao Autonomous Prefecture has always been a mysterious place. Hidden here are secrets, unexpected sights, and numerous stories.
It's from the beautiful landscape that we come to understand the Tujia people. And you know, they have aspects of their own culture, but also have blended aspects of the Han culture into their own, making for a more beautiful China. Thanks for watching Travelogue, and see you next time.
On the next episode of Travelogue, the Dong people show us their drum towers, their wind and rain bridges, and their grand song.
variety of its landscape and diversity of its peoples, welcome the Travelogue's ethnic
percent of its territory covered by mountains and crisscrossed by numerous small rivers. Zuolong Gorge is one such challenging natural barrier. It lies in Guzhang County in the western part of Hunan Province.
The lens is wet, I can see it.
The gorge is shaped by 3 million years of wind and water erosion, famous for its steep cliffs, lush forests, ancient vines, and rough trails. The journey through the gorge is certainly an adventure.
So this is the waterfall minority special. And today, in the geographic center of China, Hunan Province, there's a unique local culture, and that's the Tujia ethnic minority. These people call themselves the local peoples, literally. And today, we're going to explore their landscape and their lifestyles. Feel the serenity and also the excitement. Welcome to Travelogue. I'm Yin! I'm Yin!
The Tujia minority dwell in the Xiangxi Tujia Miao Autonomous Prefecture and some counties in southeastern Hunan and western Hubei. There are 4 groups of minority peoples in this area: the Miaos, the Tujia, the Dong, and the Yao. The way of life of the Miao and Tujia are very similar due to the similar environment, and the 2 groups were not differentiated until 1953. Hunan is a mountainous province with about 80%.
And I'm a little wet, so I'm gonna shut up now. Oh, God. So we just passed by over there. I'm wet. How's the cameraman doing?
After 5 hours of climbing, I can't imagine anyone not being exhausted. But the scenery is certainly worth it.
God bless.
The houses of the Tujia are very functional and similar to those of the Miao. The stilts of these homes allow the people to build houses above mountains and over rivers.